The Under Armour Hovr or the Nike Epic React? We find out now. What's going on, guys? Picsoleated here, back at it again with another video. Welcome to the truth segment, where we take two sneakers and pit them against each other in several categories to see which one comes out on top. Today we have some of the latest in cushioning technology from two brands that are pretty talked about in the industry right now. Of course, one is more successful, but that doesn't necessarily mean they have the best tech. And of course, the two shoes we're comparing today are the Nike Epic React and the Under Armour Hovr Phantom. Now, before we get started, feel free to like or subscribe anytime during the video if you enjoyed it. As a small-time creator whose channel is still growing, it helps me out a lot and allows me to create more content for you guys. Also, make sure to hit that bell so you can get updated on when my next video drops. Let's get back to it. For those not in the know, the Nike Epic React houses Nike's latest offering in cushioning tech, which is the React cushioning. The whole point of the Nike Epic React is the entire midsole is made of this React cushioning tech. It's Nike's proprietary technology. On the other side of the ring, we have the underdog. That is the Under Armour. See what I did there? Why do I do this to myself? With their latest offering in tech, it's their Hovr midsole, which has been surprisingly competent and I think actually has a chance at taking the crown. With this in mind, let's get into the battle. The three categories we're going to be comparing these sneakers in is the comfort, fit, and style category, so let's get started. The first category we're going to get started with is the fit category, where we look at the upper of the sneaker, how it contributes to the wearing experience of the wearer, and whether it's a good fit. The Nike Epic React has an upper that is made entirely of their Flyknit material. I haven't been the biggest fan of this material because there has been better material in the market, and that's no knock to Nike. They're still a close second overall, but I really haven't seen many silhouettes I like with this material. Nike just throws me off when they have Flyknit uppers that use plastic encasings underneath to hold their shape, like the Air Force 1 Flyknit or the Air Jordan 1 Flyknit or the later year Flyknit Kobe's. With this pair though, it is purely Flyknit, and contrary to my previous experience with Nike shoes, I actually love this upper. I've said in previous videos with this shoe, but I think Nike really pulled it off well with this shoe when it comes to a perfect fit. After a few more wears though, it turns out this pair has its shortcomings. Don't get me wrong, the knit is perfect, the fit is great, to the point where the shoe feels like an extension of your foot when I'm wearing it. There's not a lot of movement, if at all, so it doesn't feel like it's separate from my foot. So what's the shortcoming, you ask? Well, the lack of the padding in the heel portion of the shoe. You just get this harsh feeling on the back of your foot on your heel area, like there's no support here whatsoever. It also just makes it feel cheaper, aside from it being a little uncomfortable. I might just be nitpicking. It might not be that big of an issue to most people, but I think it is. Even when I don't feel it, it's in the back of my mind. The Under Armour Hovr Phantom is the mid-top version of the Under Armour's Hovr offering. It's one of the first shoes to incorporate Under Armour's new Hovr tech. But right now we're looking at the upper, and the upper of the shoe is made of two primary materials. The first being a knit that is very soft and stretchy. I'm not sure if this is their thread-borne knit or not. It doesn't say thread-borne anywhere, so I'm going to assume it's not, but it's definitely more stretchy and has more give than what I've seen from previous thread-borne knit shoes. So I personally give it a plus for that because it's made the shoe extremely comfortable. The second material is more solid material that makes up the side panels right here. The design of the shoe was inspired by biker shorts apparently, so I'm assuming this is made of that same padding that you'll find in biker shorts. It helps the shoe keep its shape and adds support to the sides of the shoe rather than having this stretchy knit go all across the shoe. I think this works well for the shoe because now you won't have any foot spillage on the sides of the shoe and you get extra support at the same time. I will say the upper doesn't have the same snug form-fitting feel as the Nike Epic React, but it is definitely a comfortable fit. The one benefit it has over the Nike Epic React is the ankle opening. Because it is a mid-top, it doesn't have the lack of cushioning feel in the heel area the way the Epic React has, and I love that. Personally, if I had to choose between the two on which to wear every day, I would go with the Under Armour Hovr for that reason alone. However, I can't ignore the fact that Nike did everything else right with the upper. The upper of both these shoes also consists of a heel counter, as you can see right here. The Epic React just has this thin piece of plastic or stiff leather, and it does what it's supposed to do, which is stiffen up the heel area for added support. The Hovr Phantom does have a heel counter, but it has a lot of flex, and I honestly don't think it provides a lot of support, although it does help harden the heel area. All that being said, the Epic React upper does have a great fitting upper, with holding the one downside of no cushioning in the heel. Therefore, the winner of this category is the Nike Epic React. The Hovr Phantom puts up a good fight, but you just can't ignore the perfect fitting Epic React upper. Moving on to the second category, it is the comfort category, where we look at the midsole, the technology incorporated in it, and how it contributes to the wearing experience. We touched on this earlier, and I've talked about it extensively in the review for both of these shoes, but let's get into it here for comparison's sake. The Under Armour Hovr Phantom houses Under Armour's latest and greatest in cushioning technology. It is this Hovr midsole. It's actually made of two main materials, but has a whole lot more going on around it. What we see here in this marbled portion are these two Phylon encasings that actually hold the Hovr unit in place. The Hovr unit is this full-length unit that runs through the middle, as you see right here. You can even see it through the windows over here. These two encasings are actually pretty soft, and there's this red Spider-Man web looking thing covering the actual hover unit. This is known as the energy web, and it helps create that responsiveness and the energy return you feel when you walk or run in these shoes. So the hover unit keeps you comfortable, while the energy web makes your every step responsive and allows you to get some feedback when you're taking those steps when you're running. Now this sounds like a lot of technical jargon, and you might be thinking, wow, Under Armour is just throwing a bunch of terms around to make it seem more fancy than it really is. Trust me, they're not. They're not pulling one of those, oh, look at our new fancy tech, it just ends up feeling like every other shoe. This tech actually works, and amazingly at that. I probably haven't been so unexpectedly impressed for a long time. The shock absorption is there, you get a satisfyingly cushy feeling when wearing these, but with the energy return and responsiveness preventing it from being just a foot pillow, probably one of my favorite latest cushioning tech and midsole innovations in a while. The Nike Epic React has the full-length React midsole, which is Nike's proprietary tech, so we're never going to know what it's made of. Could be alien jizz secured from the depths of Area 69 for all we know, but truthfully this is one advantage Nike will always have over Under Armour, because even Under Armour didn't come up with the hover tech on their own. It was made in partnership with a chemical company named Dow Chemical, so at least Under Armour partnered with them beforehand, so they have some sort of claim to it. Whereas companies like BASF or BASF that made the Boost material went to Adidas after inventing the Boost tech on their own. But we're straying off topic now. The Epic React midsole seemed alright to me at first. It kind of felt very Nike-ish. In other words, there was a decent bit of cushioning to it, but it didn't feel like much. It didn't really feel like an innovation. It was still more comfortable than any of their previous cushioning tech I've tried, but one thing I've realized is that the more I wear these, the more I get accustomed to the cushioning, and I feel like it even breaks in a little. I actually ran in these a couple days ago, and the cushioning tech feels far better than it felt the first time around. There's a bit more responsiveness and shock absorption to it. I think the best way to explain it would be, it just feels like a huge dense piece of giant gum minus the stickiness. So it absorbs a little and provides responsiveness when it decompresses, and the more you chew through it, the softer it becomes. Overall, I love the tech advancements in both of these sneakers, and both have their places and use, but for my personal use, for casual and lifestyle and the occasional gym workout, I would rather go with the Under Armour Hovr, or the Hovr Phantom, whatever it's called. So this point goes to the Under Armour Hovr Phantom. Talk about something you thought you'd never see, huh? Under Armour beating Nike in cushioning? Wow. On to the third and final category. It is the style category, where we determine which shoe is the better looking shoe overall. Disclaimer, as always, style is subjective. Always think of what you like best visually before going with what I say. My opinion is based on what I personally find more stylish and what will help most people out. First and foremost, let's make this one thing clear. Both of these shoes are very performance focused shoes, and that's the crowd they're going to appeal to. So if you plan on wearing bootcut jeans or straight leg pants, please refrain from purchasing any of these sneakers if you want to maintain any of your social or romantic relationships. But if you're a track pant wearing, tapered pants swindling, jogger rocking kind of person, then these are for you. Oh yeah, running tights work too. Now, while these are performance-driven shoes, they're both considered runners. I think the Nike Epic React looks the part a bit more than the Hovr Phantom, and rightfully so. It is a low-cut sneaker, whereas the Hovr Phantom is a mid-cut sneaker. The Hovr Phantom was intentionally designed that way to cater to runners and casual wearers at the same time. The Hovr Sonic is the pair that is actually more runner-focused, since it's a low-cut and is more responsive rather than cushy, and this personally brings the Hovr Phantom on top. For me, I've tried wearing the Epic Reacts casually, and it just doesn't mesh well with me. Not just because it's flying it. Did you catch that? Did you? Do you hate me yet? Anyway, it's an ultra performance looking silhouette. I love wearing it to the gym, not just for style reasons, but I just can't style it out with regular clothes. The Hovr Phantom is a lot easier to do that with. The issue with the Hovr Phantom is I'm just not sold on the entire upper yet. Don't get me wrong, the material and the concept is great, but the execution is just a little off. I think they should continue to use the same soft material and that Batman armor looking padding for the sides, but they need to tweak some things, like this wavy looking upper. It looks really odd on a shoe, and the toe box just seems a little too boxy to me. There are times where I'll be wearing them and they'll just lose their shape or start folding in ways that look weird. If Under Armour can just fix that in the next iteration, maybe streamline the toe box a little more, that might just help them out. So while the Hovr Phantom is essentially more wearable for me, since it's a mid-top and not as athletic looking as the Epic React, I have to give this point to the Epic React. It is generally a more aesthetic looking shoe, and even though I might not be able to pull it off in my regular fits, I'm sure more people can pull it off than how many can with the Hovr Phantom right now. Still, I think both are great looking shoes, and I know I said it's based on what I personally like better, but this time I'm making an exception, and I most likely will wear the Hovr Phantom more, but that's also because of its cushioning properties. I'm rewarding this one solely based on what I think most of y'all will benefit from, and I do think you guys can style the Epic React better than the Hovr for now. So there you have it. The Nike Epic React takes 2 of the 3 categories and therefore beats out the Hovr Phantom when it comes to the truth. Please hit that like or sub if you took anything from the video. If you're interested in either of these shoes, I will leave the links in the description below. I'm also curious what you guys think of these shoes. Do you think I made the right decision, or was I dead wrong? Let me know in the comments below. Catch you later. Picsoleated is hovering away.